Hey guys, today we're going back to the year 1920, an era of pure intuition and raw chess imagination. You're about to see brilliant ideas and very human decisions made under pressure. That's the true beauty of classical chess. Let's get into it. This is a short, legendary masterpiece by Frank James Marshall. It was played over 100 years ago, but the attacking idea he used is still crystal clear today.
We begin with pawn to e4, and black answers with pawn to c5, entering the Sicilian defense. Then Marshall immediately plays pawn to b4, the wing gambit. In the early 20th century, this was a very aggressive setup. White is willing to offer wing material in order to pull black's c-pawn away and gain faster development. White's dream is simple: open lines, build a center, and attack quickly. Black, meanwhile, wants to challenge the center and complete development without getting caught in the storm. Instead of accepting the gambit with pawn takes b4, black plays pawn to e6. That looks solid, but it actually gives Marshall a much more comfortable game. Marshall continues with pawn takes c5, grabbing the c-pawn. Black responds with bishop takes c5, developing the bishop actively. Then white plays pawn to d4, immediately building a strong center and hitting the bishop. Black retreats with bishop to b6. That keeps the bishop alive, but it also costs a precious tempo. Next comes knight to f3, a very natural classical move. White brings out a piece, supports the center, and prepares to castle. Black challenges the center with pawn to d5. If black can hit the center quickly enough, the gambit idea may lose its bite. Marshall answers with pawn to e5, gaining space and shutting down the board. Black develops with knight to c6, increasing pressure. White plays pawn to c3, reinforcing the central structure. Black continues with knight to e7, a flexible development move. Then white plays bishop to d3. This move is quiet on the surface, but strategically it is lethal. The bishop now points directly at h7. In classical attacking chess, this is the ultimate warning sign. Bishop on d3, queen ready to swing to h5. Knight ready to jump to g5. The pattern is starting to appear, and now we reach the first real turning point of the game. Black plays, castles kingside. At first glance, this looks like the right thing to do. In 19020, just like today, we are taught to castle early. But here, the timing is wrong. White already has the heavy artillery lined up, and black has no defensive cover. The more careful defensive idea was pawn to f6. Immediately challenging white's space. But in the actual game, black castles, and Marshall does not hesitate for a second. Marshall plays bishop takes h7, check. This is the classic Greek gift sacrifice. White gives up the bishop to rip open the king's shelter. Black accepts with king takes h7, and now comes the standard follow-up, knight to g5, check. The knight jumps into the attack with incredible force. The queen is ready to join from h5, and black's king is suddenly exposed. With no defenders in sight, black chooses king to g8. This is the move that seals his fate. The tougher resistance was king to g6, trying to run for his life. But after king to g8, the mating net is inescapable. Marshall continues with queen to h5, a beautiful dominant move. The queen lands exactly where she wants to be, creating immediate mating threats. Black tries rook to e8, a desperate practical defense. But the position is already lost. Marshall keeps the attack going with queen to h7, check. Black is forced to go king to f8. And now the finishing move, bishop to a3. This is a beautiful, calm finishing move. By placing the bishop here, white creates a deadly pin on the e7 knight against the king. The knight cannot move, the king is trapped, and the mating net is completely unavoidable. So what could black have done differently? The first chance was earlier, instead of castling. Black needed pawn to f6. That would have challenged the center and slowed down the attack. The second chance came after knight to g5 check. Going to g8 walked right into the fire. The tougher try was king to g6, even though the position would still be terrifying. This is why this game is so instructive. The attack didn't work by chance. It worked because the pattern was perfectly prepared, and black made the one defensive decision that allowed it to explode. After bishop to a3, black resigned. There was simply nothing left to do. White's queen is deep in the heart of the position, the knight is controlling the escape squares, and the bishop on a3 completes the trap. Black's king has no shelter, and the defenders are light years away. The game ends 1-0 for Frank Marshall. A masterclass in attacking style. There are several big lessons to take home today. First, don't castle out of habit. King's safety is about timing. Second, master the Greek gift pattern. Bishop takes h7, knight to g5, and queen to h5. Third, if your opponent has a space advantage and pieces pointed at your king, you must strike the center before the attack lands. This is why we look back at the 1920s. The ideas are timeless, the patterns are real, and Marshall shows us exactly how powerful coordinated pieces can be. That's the power of classical chess. If you want to see more brilliant attacks and legendary games, don't forget to follow and subscribe, join the community, and let's keep improving our chess together. See you next time.